Hey, welcome to the Mix It Up podcast. I'm Mike. That's Nick. And after a week hiatus, we have the other Nick came on. I guess you took a week off to binge watch the Golden Girls. So how'd that go, Dill?
I feel like I'm back in the 70s and I love it.
Dill was texting all of us about like what Golden Girl would you be if you had to pick? I'm a total Blanche. I'm a whore. So what do you guys? What Golden Girl would you be? I know, Dill, that was your question. I'm sorry. What was yours? What was the answer to that? And did you like Golden Girls? Did you watch every episode?
Every episode, but
Did
I
you
couldn't
know,
tell you anybody's name.
did you know Leslie Nielsen was on the finale of Golden Girls? The Naked Gun guy?
Makes sense. He looks
Little
like an old.
tidbit of information, yeah.
He looks like the fifth Golden Girl.
He does. He does.
But that's what Dill was doing all week last week. So Dill, welcome back, man. We're glad you're back.
Thank you.
Oh, and he was also collecting taxes from the wealthy. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
He was running around with his cape and his church basket.
He was preaching.
So you guys went off on this last week. Huh?
Oh, you didn't listen, apparently, huh?
Oh,
no.
unbelievable.
Wow, you can't even get listens from your own podcasters, your own podcasteers.
That is just
That's
brutal,
scum.
man. That's a shot. That's a shot right to the gut. That's a punch to the gut.
That might be enough to kick you off the podcast without even having to kick you. I think you might have kicked yourself off the podcast just now.
I might have to mute him if he says any more hard and hurtful things. And he's gone.
Did he drop off?
He's out.
Well, looks like it's just me and you, Nick. I mean, Mike, whatever your name is.
Well, that's it. So Nick, the other Nick, just disappeared on us. He couldn't take the heat, but I think he's just going to take a quick break and come right back. But let's go with it. All of a sudden, he did. He's like a magician now. He just fucking disappeared, man. He's like fucking David Blaine.
Disappear and come back in. I'll be your Gandalf.
I think he's back to apologize.
Right.
So go ahead.
I've been very busy with grad school and work. So, yes, I did not listen to last week's podcast.
All right, I'd love to check your Call of Duty sign-ins and see how many hours you put in. How many hours you fucking
in the last month, not much at all.
An hour's worth that you could have listened to the podcast?
Right. An hour and a half, maybe?
Since last week, I don't think I've actually played.
Do you drive a car? Do you drive a car during the day? That's how I listen to my podcast. Yeah. I drive and I just listen.
8 minutes in my commute.
Back and forth, that's 16 minutes at least.
Yeah.
5 days. That's a lot of minutes. You could have gone with our podcast. But it's okay.
Am I supposed to leave again?
But we like when you are on the podcast more than you listen to your own podcast.
Yeah, we like having you. So
I like listening to myself. So that's why I listen to this podcast. I just like listening to my fucking voice. I can listen to myself all day. That's why I don't understand how you can not listen to it. But then again, you weren't on the podcast last week. So like, why would you listen to it? I get it.
You guys feel so terrible and now so good. And I'm so confused.
Well, speaking of confused, here comes our topics. Transgender Olympians, number one. What?
They're confusing.
Yes. All restrictions lifted on 5/19, which is tomorrow. I don't know if that's New York. Who brought that up?
Pretty sure New York City, all restrictions are lifted tomorrow.
All right. UAP'S, which is another form of UFOs. Are we headed for a recession? And how the government will make its stimulus money back. Sons of bitches. They're making it back already. They're taking it back from us. So pick a topic, Nick. Transgender Olympians? You got it. No, which one you want to talk about first?
I actually want to talk about the UAPs. I opened the article, even though I thought it was a video at first. And I read like just a couple lines of it, but it's been a phenomenon since what? I don't know, early 1900s, or some say as old as time. Because if you look at biblical references, they say there's things that look like UAPs back then.
They
Well-
drew them on rocks. They carved them in rocks. What looked like aliens and alien spaceships. So it's been around like forever. So the technology has been there.
Yeah, but I think we're finally getting the point, our technology wise, where we could record an encounter and actually like get proof of it, which has been, I think, the problem for the longest time.
I just want to explain to the listener what the fuck a UAP is. It's basically a UFO. So it's called an unidentified aerial phenomena. Basically, so if you see something in outer space and maybe it doesn't even look like an airplane or a UFO, I guess it's called a UAP, something that they don't know what the fuck is going on. So
Yeah.
that's
And
that.
they say like fighter jets like along the coast where they train like missions off like Virginia Beach or whatever. They said they've been seeing them for like every day for like 2 straight years. And it's become some of the norm. And then they, now they got it on the radar. They photographed it. They videoed it. I mean, it's hard to see like up close. You kind of seeing just like radar pictures and some random pictures that people have like from the street or whatever. So it's hard to see exactly what it is, but they describe it like, disappearing, reappearing seconds later, 60 miles away, flying in the ocean, turning directions, going against the wind. So it's like it's this crazy shit that nobody can explain. But they're not necessarily worried that it's alien. I mean, it could be, but they're kind of worried about it could be like Russia or China having like the edge up on technology where they're just kind of like spying on what we're doing. So that could have a whole big impact. I almost rather the aliens instead of like Russia and China having that technology.
Yeah, because we'll never be able to shoot something like that out of the sky. I mean, the speed on there to be able to go, they're saying they could drop down from like 80,000 miles in the sky to 20,000 miles in seconds and then show up 60 miles. Oh, not miles, whatever it is, feet. And then show up 60 miles, like you said, away from where they just caught them on radar in like a few seconds. So that's almost like the speed of light.
Right.
And
Yeah,
if you can control that, you can time travel.
Is that a port? Are they going to a portal? Is that time traveling?
Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, they were saying that there was, so it's two Air Force, two different planes, right? Were there, and they were both tracking this same object that they saw in the water. Number one, like it seemed like it was just grazing the top of the ocean. And did you say it lit up?
I don't
Whatever it
remember
was.
that. I remember this saying there was 2 people in each plane, so there's 4 eyewitnesses.
Yeah, and it was just moving in an erratic behavior underneath the water. And then I don't know if it shot up or disappeared and reappeared somewhere else, but then it's on the radar screen. So they have it on radar. And you say to yourself, is it just malfunctioning? Is the radar malfunctioning? But it's not malfunctioning.
Yeah, but if it happened once or twice, you could say, all right, it's malfunctioning. They need to fix it.
Yeah.
If Mike said this has been happening on and off consistently for 2 years,
Yep.
You're picking up on something.
Yeah.
Whether it's alien, whether it's other intelligence, other countries' tech, I don't know, but it's concerning, whatever the hell it is.
Well, I'm pretty sure if it was another country's tech, they probably would have blew those airplanes out of the sky so that there was no witnesses. So it's got to be some sort of alien life form. Just imagine if we showed up on another planet. Well, we'd probably go guns blazing, right? We'd probably just wipe out whatever we saw because we're fucking idiots.
Right.
But what if on another planet it's all peace and they don't even know how to kill anything, and they're just like, oh, let's go explore this stupid planet, you know?
Maybe we're like their rated R version of like TV and shit. Like, look at these fucking assholes. Look at what they're doing. They're fucking like gremlins and shit, fucking destroying the fucking planet.
Right.
So they're probably just watching us.
They're gonna melt their solar ice caps and drown themselves, and they don't even know it.
Or it could be something that's in another dimension. But imagine you capture this vehicle or whatever it is, and you don't see anybody or anything in it, but they're invisible and we can't even see them with our eyes, but we could see something. Because so I don't know, maybe what they made was made out of carbon based something, but their being is created in something we can't see. So the thing shows up and like parks on your street, nobody gets out, and you're like, who the fuck's driving that thing? But they're in another dimension. I don't know. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm kicking myself off the podcast.
That sounds like I almost said birdcage, not birdcage. Bird Box.
With Sandra Bullock?
Yeah. Like, remember, they couldn't see the alien, or no, it's not that they couldn't see the aliens. If the aliens saw them looking at them, they blinded them or they petrified or something,
They killed them,
killed them.
turned them
Yeah,
insane. It turned them
they're
crazy, and they
crazy.
killed themselves. Actually,
Oh yes, that's right. Yes, it turned them insane because they couldn't look at them.
yeah.
Sandra Bullock's hot.
She's
Those
adorable.
spaceships, they were saying like
Fucking
they were
bitch.
driving, like they didn't have any exhaust, like there was no like fucking shit coming. There's like no engines. It was fucking like nothing. One of them they said looked like a gigantic Tic Tac, just
Yeah.
like white all around, like oval shaped, and it just fucking moved in all these fucking crazy ass directions, man.
That's because they probably found out a way to not have to use fossil fuels to move, because eventually you're going to run out of power, I guess, right? You can only have so much horsepower without saying, okay, the combustion of an engine can't go any fucking further. You got to figure out a different way.
Gigawatts.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you got to try to figure out a way to cut through the energy of the universe or use it in order to fucking project yourself, which I'm sure Elon Musk will figure out before we die. So nothing to worry about.
They got the flux capacitor, man. They found it.
The flux capacitor.
Flux capacitor. 1.21 gigawatts, man. They got that shit.
Shit. Well, speaking of gigawatts, you guys hear about the first transgender Olympian that's going to dominate, destroy everything that women have ever worked for their lives?
That's a great transgender position.
Yeah. So I don't know the person's name. I did watch the interview and stuff like that the other day about how she felt. It's just, I don't know, in my opinion, it's just insane, because this person was built. I mean, it's the same. Everybody knows the fucking stuff I'm going to say. They were born as a man, so they went through puberty as a man, and they developed stronger bones and stronger muscles. It's fucking science, right? Most men are built by birth stronger than women. It's just, that's how we were built, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. So why should somebody be able to go and dominate, which we know men dominate sports because they're stronger human beings, right? Isn't that a slap in women's face to just say, hey, everything you worked for, like, when did suffrage come about? Women didn't even have the right to vote. Like, I don't know, less than 100 years ago, or maybe something like that, or
101, 1920.
All right, so they just got their right to vote like 100 years ago, and they're trying to build themselves up in the workforce. And they used to be a minority, right? We used to look at them in a certain way, and now we're just shitting on them. We're saying, nah, because a small group of people want it this way, we're gonna let them fucking dominate you. You're never gonna win an Olympic sport again, because all the transgender fucking Olympians are gonna come destroy you. Is that okay to do to them? They should be up in fucking arms.
They should be fucking real pissed. Imagine you're playing in a league, you're a woman, you're playing in the WNBA. Then all of a sudden LeBron James is like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking cut my balls off, and I'm gonna decide to be a woman, and I'm just gonna fucking win a whole bunch of WNBA titles. Imagine, like, he would just destroy them. Like, he would have, I mean, it gotta be fun to watch. I hope it does happen, because he would just like score like 100 points a game. He'd block everybody's shot. It would just cause like such a commotion. But people like nowadays, they'll celebrate that. Like, oh my God, look at what he's doing as a woman. He's so special. Like, but it's not fair. Like, the whole competition is like way thrown off. It's like, I compare it to like when I used to play basketball at the park. I shouldn't have been there. I was just too dominant.
I agree with the sentiment, but I would like to know how like the general female public feels about it. Do they think it's fine? Like, are they? Because at the end of the day, if the general female public is like, all right, we're okay with this, that's on them then. If they think it's okay.
Well, the general public, number one, is a bunch of morons, right? Because they can have their idea and opinion on stuff, but unless you're an Olympian and you get somebody that's built like a fucking brick shithouse and decides to call themselves a woman and just pushes you around, beats the shit out of you, and dominates your sport, something that you've built all your life. An Olympian doesn't just wake up one day and say, I want to join the Olympics. They put every piece of fucking energy into their fucking training. And now somebody that's physically more dominant than them is going to destroy them. because they have more testosterone in their fucking bodies, right? Which is going to lead to all women doing steroids and human growth hormone in order to compete with these people. And then eventually there's not going to be any women because the testosterone levels are going to be so high in them that it's just going to be men walking around and we won't procreate anymore. And then the whole fucking human race is destroyed.
I think a woman like that would hang out with us.
I wasn't going to go that
down a rabbit hole.
I was just going to say, like, the women would turn into, like, the ones that do steroids and shit. Like, they would just turn into, like, these monsters. And then you have to fucking be scared. Like, you'd be scared walking around with these fucking, like, all right, there's women, there's men, and then there's monsters.
Right.
Like, I mean,
Tits
you can
were
look at it.
unbelievable.
Oh man,
Seriously.
I love titties. So
Elon Musk is the savior of the universe by sending human beings to fucking planet Mars.
You should send all the transgender that want to play sports to Mars and let them compete against each other. Let them play all against each other. That would be fair.
Maybe they should play against each other.
That would be fair. A transgender league.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't watch it, but like,
I'd probably watch it. I'd probably watch it.
Yeah. I think they could have their own league. I just don't think it needs to be on Mars.
Well, why wouldn't they have their own league in a way? Like there's no longer are there just male and female, right? There's all different genders, right? So why shouldn't they have their own Olympics? I don't see an issue with that. I don't see an issue with transgender. I don't see an issue with any sexuality, honestly. But like the fact that a dominant sex or gender, whatever the fuck it is, comes in and just wants to destroy. That's not right. It's not fucking right.
You think this possibly leads to at one point there only being, it doesn't matter what your gender is, you just compete?
No, that would be awful because then all women would stop competing because they would realize that LeBron James will destroy them, like Mike said. And then there goes everything you've ever worked for in your life. WNBA was created in our lifetime. That didn't exist. Right. Now you got guys deciding that they want to become a woman and then destroy the WNBA, like Mike said. And then there's that. Then women don't have a fucking reason to try to become better and become sports fucking players. Because what are you going to do? You cannot. I'm not going to say you cannot because WNBA players and a lot of women will destroy me in basketball. But no matter what, a guy and a woman train just as hard. The guy is physically more inept. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's just fucking science. So like, why would you do that?
Not inept.
Adept?
Yeah.
I mean, adept, yeah.
Whatever the fuck it is.
You would have to separate all three leagues, no doubt.
Yeah.
You play like you have the men's sports, you have the women's sports, and then whatever you want to call yourself, sports.
Well,
you know what I mean? Just have separate it.
Have any of the female Olympians come out and spoke against it?
I haven't heard.
I don't know. I didn't read anything.
Like that's I think the thing is I don't think we can. I understand your guys' opinions. I agree to a point, but I think it really comes down to what the actual Olympians who are going to be competing against this person say. If they're fine with it, who are we to say anything? Now, yes, you're right. If they come in and dominate the sport and then they're upset about it because they think it's unfair, there's a different argument here. But if they're cool with it and the person doesn't win, I know it might be like a one-case scenario thing, but
no, deep down inside, they're not going to be cool with it. They might say it publicly because they don't want to get canceled, because that's kind of like the times we're living in. You can't even have like a decent opinion, so they'll probably keep it to themselves and then they'll suffer because of it.
But like Nick said, this isn't like like who's going to the bathroom in what place type of situation. This is the cream of the crop who practice and train their whole life. If they feel they're being cheated on a level they can't attain, I don't think they're going to be quiet about it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I mean,
this isn't something where it's an even playing ground. It doesn't really affect. Like, these are people who worked. I don't know. I don't know enough of that info to make it. I think whoever is the ones competing in it, I think it should be up to them or their discretion.
Yeah, maybe they want it. Maybe they want it to say like, "I'm gonna fuck this dude up."
I mean, maybe.
I
don't know.
You're not gonna outlift. You're not gonna out deadlift a fucking guy.
No,
dude, you're not.
And the person's a power lifter. This person is a fucking power lifter, Olympian.
Power lifter.
Yeah, I saw fucking boom. You're not beating. You're not. You can outlift me, sure. You're not outlifting this guy.
You gotta have a strong opinion about this. I mean, this is way different than the whole bathroom thing. Like, dude, bathroom thing. Who gives a fuck about people going to the bathroom? Like, I'll piss anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'll piss in the street. I don't give a fuck. I'll piss next to a tranny. If I gotta go, I gotta go. So
ladies
the whole
work
bathroom
here?
shit is just fucking stupid. You know, people arguing about that is just fucking nonsense. But the Olympics, I mean, it's a different story, man. Did you guys ever see the South Park episode where like they had like a transgender, you know, um, man turn into a woman or whatever, and just he dominated the Olympics. And the transgender, you know what they use as a transgender?
What?
Macho Man Randy Savage. So you see Macho Man going around lifting weights, throwing weights. He's like, yeah, I'm dominate you, girl. Like, I'm gonna win another fucking medal. Oh, yeah. And he was just fucking kicking everybody's ass. He was boxing them, beating the shit out of them. But it's so like it's right though. It's funny, but it's right in the same way. You just can't have that.
Oh yeah!
I mean, granted, there's women that are awesome at basketball that they're better than men, but they're just not physical enough to compete like in that kind of schedule in that world. That just won't work out.
Yeah.
Fucking right in the pussy.
Speaking of things working out, how's it working out for the government trying to recoup their stimulus checks?
Yo, that pause was priceless, man. That might be your best transition yet.
Oh my God! Look at the prices of everything going through the roof, man. We're fucked.
Aren't you glad like they kind of like sweetened us right before this? Like they gave us a nice little stimulus that's like, $1,400. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just, all right, now we'll raise the gas prices, have to pay more for oil, pay more for cost of living. Just funny how that fucking works out, how they got their fucking money back right away, huh?
So you don't think that it was the pipeline was hacked by a cyber attack?
I think it
Bullshit.
was. I think it was
You
like
think-
that.
You think
I
it's
think it's
complete
all scam.
bullshit, Mike?
I think it's all scam just to get the money, just to fucking get money off us, man.
Might be.
But why would they do it through the gas and oil pipeline? Why wouldn't they do it through goods or
Scare
services?
tactics. It's all scare tactics. Because imagine they do that, like they cut the gas off and then transportation fucking stops. People stop flying trains. Like, oh my God, we got to fix that. Whatever money, we understand now. They can't just come out and fucking just start raising prices on everything. They have to give us a reason. It's probably the reason. I don't know.
But why? Well, Nick, a lot of things have gone up. The cost of groceries have gone up. The building supplies are bizarre. It's like fucking triple, quadruple the amount of fucking money to get a piece of wood nowadays, which is fucking insane. But my question is this: why can't the government keep anything secret at all? Like something like that where you get hacked. Oh, or did the hackers tell the world that they hacked it, or did the government say, "Hey, guess what? We got hacked. Gas prices are going up."
I believe the government did, but it's not that the gas prices had to go up. It's that they couldn't keep the supply regular. That's why everything had to go up. But remember, gas prices go up, everything goes up because almost everything is related to that. Every good and service we have isn't made in like the next corner. You don't get your corn from Mike Trainer wherever he lives 2 blocks away. You're getting it from somewhere out west and it has to be shipped there. And if the gas prices go up, it takes more money to get it to your doorstep in wherever you're buying stuff.
No, I understand that, but it always also seems that the price of things don't go up proportionally, right? Back in the day, remember when pizza? Oh, the cheese, the price of mozzarella went up. Okay, so a block of mozzarella went up from, just say, $4 to $5. So why does one slice of pizza go up 50 cents then? And that you're getting fucking say 100, just say 100 slices out of one block of mozzarella. I'm just saying. So why does one slice have to go up 50 cents? And so 2 slices, you already recoup the price of your fucking mozzarella fucking increase, right? These cocksuckers just make so much money on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, make it exponentially fucking correct across the board. Oh yeah, and then when the prices go back down to normal, why doesn't the price of a fucking slice of pizza go back down to normal?
I would love that, man.
Why? Because you're now have shown the ability to pay the amount of money for the higher price product. Why would they move it back down just because their costs go down when consumers will still buy it at the same rate?
No, I know the reason, Nick, but it's scum. It's scummy.
I know, but you love
It is scummy.
capitalism.
Yeah,
That's not capitalism. That's scum.
Yo, look,
That's capitalism.
I hate economics.
is
But
that is capitalism the same thing as like going to a ball game and paying $16 for a beer?
Yeah.
That's the same shit, right? So like, what the fuck? That's scummy move too.
It's all about making the maximum profit. Doesn't matter about the individual person.
$16. That's some nerve, man. You go to a Yankee game, you got to pay $16 for like a big ass beer. It's fucking nuts.
that's just greed, though. I mean,
It's very greedy.
I have a business, Outrage Studios. What's up? And I don't fucking rate people in prices. Actually, I'm cheaper than everybody else for the most part. I believe hourly rate. You know, I mean, just because capitalism exists doesn't mean you have to be greedy. You know, I mean, the problem with it is that in order to show a profit every quarter, right? In order to not get fired, the fucking CEOs of companies have to say, we have to fucking increase our profits every single quarter. How do you do that? That's like impossible unless you up the fucking prices of everything, right?
Dude, you're saying my job completely. Like the price of beer. When I first started, I remember like, you know, Bush or Bush Light or Natural Light, you know, like the low end beers.
Yeah.
I remember
favorite
like,
beers.
when I first started, it was like 2007, 2008. And I first started working there. Like a price, a 30 pack of like Natural Light
Yeah.
was $8.99. $8.99. I remember how to get these signs made up. I was like, man, $8.99. What kind of maniacs are drinking these kind of beers? You know, for fucking like, you know, $10, you're walking out there with a 30 pack. People were grabbing like two at a time. Like, man, the volume was crazy. But then they kept raising the price every year. They go up like $1.20 to us. Then to the consumer it would be $2. And
Right.
they kept doing that pretty much every year, sometimes every 6 months. And now, like all of a sudden you go to like a place and you look at a Natural Light 30 pack, it's like $19.99 plus tax and deposit. It's over $20. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, eventually this bubble is gonna fucking burst, and people are just not gonna want to pay these prices to begin with. And you know, we're starting to see that on my ending because we see the volume drop totally, and
Yeah.
people are just like, you know, maybe instead of buying a 30 pack, maybe they're buying a 12 pack. You know, so you know, you keep raising the prices, it's gonna change the consumers, you know, buying habits, and you know, we've seen that, and that goes pretty much with everything.
But when they see that happen, that's when they'll redrop the price.
You would think.
That's how you get to that point. When it eventually becomes too high of a price that you're not pushing the volume and whatever, and you're losing now overall sale value, that's when they'll reevaluate and lower. Till then, they will never.
But you know what we need to happen? We need philanthropical billionaires to step in and undercut these motherfuckers with all their fucking power they have, all the money. Create open up a business. We're just use beer distribution as a fucking as an example. Fucking open up a distributor, undercut everybody, keep your fucking prices level, and say, here, general public, this is me doing a good thing, right? Why can't people do that?
They'll be out of business.
Why would they be out of business?
No, I'm saying, yeah. I mean, listen, everybody knows the cost, but it's like then you have to factor in like the cost of running the business. Then it's like electricity, lights. They have to put all that into effect. So if they raise something, like you're forced to, you know, raise to the consumer. I mean, they're only making like, you know, my customers are only making like 25 to 30%, you know, and that's not really enough, especially the days with credit cards take off price on the top too now. So then people are throwing that into effect. So it's everything, man.
I guess I didn't mean like the beer distributors. I meant more of the beer companies, right? Or we're just using beer an example, like Coors.
Like companies.
Yeah.
I mean, they should lower the fucking price.
Let's go back to pizza, because the price of pizza really pisses me off. When you walk into a pizzeria and you have to spend $10 on 2 slices of pizza and a drink, hopefully you get a drink, that's a fucking rape.
Dude, at Seaside Heights, long time ago, like probably like God, 90s, late 90s, I bought pizza on the boardwalk and a little cup of Coke, 99 cents. Bang.
Right.
It was the fucking greatest. Like, you can't find places like that anymore. You can't pay 99 cents for a slice.
You
If
can
you
actually.
do,
They
I
do
mean,
have
if
those
you do,
dollar slices in the city.
Yeah, but if you do, those things are disgusting. You'll be
I
paying
kinda
for
like
that
them.
fucking. You'll be paying for that later. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Isn't
what kids
wrong.
gonna want to know what it is. What do you say, Dill?
I said he isn't wrong.
Hey, better off eating Ilios. But you know what we need to have, and it goes back to Dill's point too, with like all the transportation and then how that impacts us, and because of gas prices, everything got to get raised. Like it's just the way it is. So we need Elon Musk to come out with these electric cars, man, because that's eventually going to save us. Everything's going to go to electric cars. It's not going to be anything running on gas in probably the next 10 to 15 years, I would think, maybe even sooner.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Nick?
Not today, Satan. Not today.
I
It's
mean,
electric.
electric cars are a great idea in theory, but the problem is, how do we get electricity?
From the outlets.
You ever hear of a guy named Thomas Edison, Nick?
Yes,
just
right.
wait- just-
How did he make electricity?
Who cares? He
wait
made
for-
it.
We'll just wait for a lightning bolt to hit the clock tower, and then we'll connect a couple wires to it, and fucking we'll get electricity.
You would think we were a Back to the Future fucking fan podcast with all these
Yeah, I
fucking
do.
Back to the Futures.
Dude, everything goes back to the Back to the Future podcast.
My calculations are correct.
No, I mean,
This
ironically,
baby hits
ironically,
88
Back to the
miles per
Future
hour.
2 was on yesterday, and it was
You're
on the
gonna see some
background as we were
serious
walking
shit.
around, which was actually hilarious. But, no, but the problem is all our electricity is produced from fossil fuels. So even the electric cars, it doesn't really solve a problem. It just makes a different problem. Because to get that electricity, we're still burning fossil fuels. Just because it's not going from the cars into the atmosphere and from your gas tank, batteries and all that stuff, all that energy still is coming from fossil fuels for the most part. Some of it is ethanol, great, sure, but not that much of it.
Well, I mean, Tesla wanted to create well, you don't need. There's got to be ways. I mean, fucking, there's water, or what is it?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen, yeah, whatever the fuck it is.
Hydrogen is probably the closest thing in my non professional opinion that I've heard of that they could turn into an actual renewable, cheaper resource. But the problem is even though it's renewable, it's not cheaper because hydrogen is not water. Hydrogen, the way it has to be stored and shipped, has to be in such a pressurized environment. It's highly volatile and combustive and not easy to move. But the only great not drawback, the only really ridiculous positive is not only is it renewable, the byproduct is water.
All right, that's cool.
What about those like pinwheel things that you always see, like when we go to the Borgata and you always see the pinwheel spinning around? I guess from the wind, it's creating like energy. Are they
Windmills?
pinwheels?
I think they're windmills.
Wheel of Fortune.
So windmills bring like energy just from like the wind. By the way, they kill like so many birds like a year. If you ever go
Do
down
they?
to Borgata, it's just like a row of dead birds underneath these fucking gigantic pinwheels because birds are fucking stupid. They're just gonna fly right into them. But that's the cost of all the energy we're getting from the fucking pinwheels or windmills.
Windmills.
How does that work?
They do produce energy, and for the most part, it is almost free energy because it's a natural earth thing, but it just doesn't produce enough for the demand. It's just like solar panels, and it's just what is it called? The hydroelectric dams. They're using natural earth systems to make renewable energy. The problem is the demand and the amount of people we have far, far exceeds what they're actually able to produce.
More pinwheels. That's
Yeah.
my answer.
If you don't start calling them windmills, I'm going to turn you into a pinwheel and eat you.
Run, bitch!
More windmills. That's what we
I'm
need.
sure-
That's what we need. Like we need more fucking that, more solar panels. Why not throw like a big ass solar panel on the roof of a car and then let the car run off that?
I mean, I agree with you. I don't know. I know some of it is scam bullshit, but there is a very big push, and I think in Westchester at this point to get solar panels put in free of charge. Maybe not free of charge, but for good rates to get that and help out with your energy costs.
Yeah, I always get the phone calls from solar.
Yeah, and if they're not scams, I mean, it might be worth looking at.
Why don't they just make shingles that are fucking?
Yeah,
They
because the
probably have
solar
them
panels
now.
look ugly. They kind of
Yeah,
like look ugly on your top of your house.
Yeah, and how do you fix your roof?
Yeah, right. What if it leaks? What
Gotta
about all
rip
the
all
bird?
those
You know,
fucking
getting back to the birds. Like, what about all the bird shit on top of that? It just sits there on top of the fucking solar panels. How do you clean that off?
Windex,
I ain't going up
Windex
there.
does.
snow. You wait for the snow to come, melt.
Wait for the snow and rain.
Yeah, I don't know. Those solar panels look fucking stupid, but they should just make a shingle that fucking is allowed to create solar power. But that's insane because who knows the science behind all that fucking shit. But
They can make it look more appealing than what it looks now.
yeah,
You know,
They can, but at the end of the day, it's like, is it gonna affect how much volume and how much sun and how much energy do you actually get?
well, if you have a white house, maybe paint those things white all around so they kind of just blend into the roof, right? Or at least offer them in different colors or some shit.
I don't think you can make it white because white reflects.
Ah, it has to be black.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. You want stuff to keep in the light. You don't want to let it disperse or bounce back. That's what I remember from chemistry
Yeah,
lab.
it makes
Makes
sense.
So they can't just create like a fucking 1,000,000-foot long solar panel and put it in the middle of the Sahara Desert and just fucking just soak up the energy of the sun constantly and just fucking store it somewhere and run the whole fucking planet. That
I'm
can't
with
happen.
that. Or in the middle of the ocean, just throw it on a big gigantic raft. Or what about all the cruise ships walking around? Just throw a big fucking thing on there. They're always going back and forth.
Yeah, all the cruise ships are walking around the ocean. See that cruise ship walking around out there? What's it doing?
That thing got solar panels on the thing.
You know, so if like the Sahara, it would be a great idea in theory, but how do you get the energy from like the Sahara to like Alexandria and Cairo, like the places that need it?
Fuck those places, Nick. We're America. We don't care about places like that.
Okay, and how is the energy getting from this African Sahara to New York?
Nick, I meant Jones Beach. I didn't mean the Sahara Desert.
Doesn't get that much sun.
I'm joking. I care about other countries. I'm joking around, but there's got to be a way. It's called the storage system, right? You suck in the sun's energy, you store it in a pipeline,
right?
It gets hacked by hackers. We're all fucked.
I was waiting for the other shoe to drop here.
Or you get the Ghostbusters traps and you just fucking put it under and you fucking suck up the energy in there.
Yeah.
Then Peter Bateman fucking brings it to your house. And boom, energy.
There's ways, man. They know. They already have it all figured out. They're waiting until all the fuel in the world is gone. Then they'll keep a reserve for them if they ever need it. And then they'll be like, oh, guess what? Look, we have an electricity created off of spaghetti that we made. You know what I mean? Like they're going to make something to create fucking electricity. They got it all figured out, man. They're not stupid. If they could send people to the fucking moon, we're going to be sending people to Mars lately. We have Call of Duty at the fingertips. We can Uber eat anytime we want. I'm pretty sure they know what's up with our next electricity fucking source.
So do you think they just want to keep all the oil barons and tycoons who've been making all this money in power until there's literally such a shortage they have to force feed a new power source?
Yeah, and they already have the fucking they already have it all ready to go, and those billionaires are in control of it already. So otherwise, they wouldn't let Elon Musk fucking start creating the electric cars and stuff like that, and they're really taking it over. You know, they would they would stop it right away. Like, yeah, you're not doing this. You're not taking our fucking money. But they know it. He knows it. He's probably working hand in hand with them. They're saying, all right, Elon, put a little bit out. You know, we'll slowly bring out the electric cars, and then pretty soon they'll all be electric. Boogie woogie woogie. Will there be electric cruise ships running around on the ocean though? Walking around? Planes?
It'll be electric cruise ships with solar panels on top.
Nice.
So they get both.
And what happens when you're in your airplane and it's a really fucking hazy day and you lose power? Fucked.
Parachute.
Parachutes.
You're just gonna glide there.
Yeah.
On the northwest current.
Could we get enough electric power to put a fucking Boeing 747 into the sky?
From like solar panel, I don't think so.
I don't know about solar panel, but like, can you just electricity in general? I mean, the Teslas are fast, right?
Yeah, I think they would need to create a battery that's good enough and can hold enough electricity for that type of flight.
Mm.
I don't know the science behind how that would work though.
I think what they have to do is find a way to suck up the energy around it. Pretend I'm a unit, like a square, and it just finds a way to get the field of energy around it, and it's just constantly fucking sucking it in and transforming it to the point where they figure out how to control it, and it's just that's what Tesla wanted, though, right? Didn't he find a way?
You're just describing what a UAP is. That's probably
Maybe.
what a UAP is.
Probably.
Using that kind of fucking energy that's we haven't created yet. I mean, they're using something. It has to be some kind of energy to find, yeah, and that's probably what it is. We probably figured it out and didn't even realize it until now.
Or did I just like explain what like nuclear power was or atomic energy or something like that?
No, that's from like
Splitting atoms and shit like that, right? But
that's like fission reaction. No, I was actually you actually kind of read my mind because I was thinking about the Hadrian colliders and like the particle accelerators and stuff on like how those work. And I remember I think it was either Da Vinci Code or Angels and Demons. I don't know. That's where it stemmed about. They found like the negative energy when two particle accelerators hit each other in Lucerne and made the ball of energy that's could be like a renewable resource for a city for like 10 years, which is crazy to think about. But obviously it's very expensive to do. But if they could harvest that and actually make that spreadable, like think about I'm not saying forget about like the country and small places, but imagine you can make 1,000 of those a year just to power the major cities for a decade, and then everybody else could survive off the other means. We would be able to sustain stuff for whatever. And guess what? There's atoms in everything. It's everything else you need to get to the two atoms to hit each other at such a speed to actually work like that.
Right. Don't they feel like that's gonna like kill us all? Create a black hole and destroy us?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
They don't know, I don't think, the last time I checked.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
reassuring.
What do you're getting down to what matter is made of. Atoms are the smallest thing that we like freaking know at this point.
Right.
So you're literally destroying matter on the atomic level.
You're destroying it.
Yeah.
Aren't they able to weren't they able to transport what's the word when you're like, oh, I wish I could just teleport. Weren't they able to teleport like an atom or an electron?
I don't know about an atom, maybe an electron or a neutron, because that's a particle charge.
I think it was a neutron.
Neutron? Yeah, neutron.
Yeah.
I thought I'm saying that, yeah.
I don't know about I don't know if it's teleporting per se.
I think they teleported. I think teleport happened, man, with an I thought it was an electron, but maybe it's a neutron, whatever it was. You ever hear of this when you split? I think if you split an electron, I don't know if that's possible, or you take two electrons that are like twin electrons. I don't know the science behind it. And you could take an electron and say throw it light years away. And whatever you do to the electron that you still have in front of you, the other one reacts to it. Did you ever hear that?
I didn't.
Not me.
It's true though. Like whatever
like
whatever
the
you
butterfly
do.
effect for electrons though?
What?
Like the butterfly effect.
I mean, I don't know if it's kind of, I guess, similar to the butterfly effect, but it's a real phenomenon. Like whatever you do to this one, that one knows, and it could literally be on the other side of the fucking universe, and it will react identically to that. Is that fucking nuts?
I mean,
A lot of shit we don't know.
And what about data that if you're not observing it is different than when you do observe it? Did you ever hear that? There's a test they do where I think it's with light, that if you're looking at it, if somebody's looking at it The data is different than when they're not looking at it. The way light reacts. So that's the way of like science trying to prove that if you're not looking at it, you're building reality into itself in a way, because things go crazy when you're like, whatever's going on behind me almost doesn't exist until I look at it. You bring
it's
reality
like
into existence.
Yeah, it's like that whole idea. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound?
Right.
Does it?
Yes.
Does it, though, Mike?
But no one heard it.
Somebody had to hear it.
Who? A
I
bird?
don't know. Another animal, like a fucking chipmunk, like whatever's out there. It happened. Like, what if you just put a camera out there, videotaping it, right? And then all of a sudden a tree falls in the woods, nobody's around, but then you retrieve that video camera later and you watch it. Is that just you making reality off a videotape?
Could be.
Yeah, but now you have recordable evidence. The point is the whole phenomena is if you don't know it happened, did it still make a noise?
Sound good, candy pants.
I mean, I farted before and it didn't make a sound, but I know it happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know the evidence. You smell it. And sometimes you hear it.
Well,
Yeah, but sometimes you hear it, but you don't smell it.
That's true.
yeah. Speaking of knowing things happening,
Blow my mind.
right? I didn't mention this before, but this was a topic that we were supposed to discuss. But how about the government letting other people know that they're going to war from Twitter? Informing the world, hey, guess what? We're at war. What kind of bullshit is that?
Dude, it's because it's instantaneous. That's what it is. Instead of waiting for people to go on the 6 o'clock news or breaking news, you have to wait to set it up or whatever before you go live on TV. Twitter's just like, you write it down, boom, it's instant. It's out there.
Gratification.
It's crazy. That's the world we're living in now, man.
It's wild.
Everything's that's why all these newscasters, everybody got a fucking Twitter account. Anybody that's a celebrity have to have a Twitter account. They have to have social media. It's fucking wild, man. Fucking crazy. I mean,
but even like the national defense of the country needs a fucking Twitter account. Like, yo, we out here, we bombing.
We bombing.
you think they have like a higher standard, is what you're saying?
Yeah, you would think so. Like certain things should be kept, behind closed doors. You call the government up and you say, I'm going to war with you now.
Well, how'd you find out before, like war before you found out through television?
Yeah.
All of a sudden you were watching like Unsolved Mysteries or Rescue 911 or the Muppet Babies, and then all of a sudden breaking news, bang, we're fucking going to war. And that's how you found out. So this is just like new media.
What is it? The emergency broadcast system, the EBS, right?
That's still
why
around.
it was invented. Yeah, I mean it is. It still happens like once a year. They do a test.
Yeah, I always hear that shit.
It's a fucking app on the phone. Like, is the head of like a national defense going like this on his phone? Man, what's that fucking app again where I could tell everybody that we're going to war? What's the fucking app again? What's that?
These nuts.
Twitter. Oh yeah, let me download Twitter real quick and tell everybody we're going to fucking war.
Just it seems like ridiculous, right? It
does
seems
seem
like almost like childish in a way.
very childish. It's a fucking app on your phone. It's a game for kids to play while they're doing nothing and for people to do while they're taking a shit, Mike. And the government's like, yo, we at war.
At least send us that like what do you call that alert when missing children go and everybody gets it on their phone? Amber alert, right?
Yeah.
So at least like do that. That would make it seem more fucking cooler and more like, fucking professional.
Right.
Instead of like, yo, Twitter, like, yo, we're going to war and
I know, but Twitter's not just a bunch of bozos like us, like posting about sports stuff.
Yes, it is.
You have like I follow on Twitter like what is it called, like traffic updates from New York City. I follow the DOE for updates from New York City, like official accounts that are connected to these organizations that update stuff daily or sometimes hourly depending on the situation. So you can do stuff like that. Because the thing is, we're such an instant gratification society.
I have like 1,000 followers on Twitter. They're all bozos. Every single one of them. So I guess you have to get the news out to the bozos too. not just like the normies. You got to include everybody.
I mean, I don't know. When anything crazy happens, like, I don't know if you guys have a newspaper that you get sent to your email, but like New York Times sends me any like
no
crazy updates to my email. Like when like
Newspapers. Get your newspapers here.
get your papers.
all through email, like
40s. Get your glass of milk delivered to your house and some newspapers. Still so mad at me on this episode. Please play softball with us tomorrow night, please. We need a picture. Yeah, but dude, I've never got like, I mean, like newspaper, like articles and shit like sent to me. Nah, like I used to have like on an iPhone app, it was like some kind of like newspaper shit that they would send, but I would never read that shit.
no, but I mean like major alerts, Mike. Like I went when I first downloaded in 2010, like the updates, what I want, it's like major political news, wars, like
You pick and choose that.
I picked and choose.
Okay.
Like I'm talking about major political events. I'm not talking about the judge in Scranton County, Pennsylvania got reelected. I'm talking like, for me, I also love my sports. So it's like when somebody wins the Stanley Cup, somebody wins the World Series, I'd get that alert.
Okay.
When the election happened, what was happening with the election. But like I pick and choose what it is. But like, like if we go to war or like when we found Bin Laden and whatnot, I got those. So I knew within 30 seconds of whatever that coming out because the newspaper did it. But
what did you do when you got that? When you got that info, what did you do?
I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. We finally got Bin Laden. Guess what? 2 minutes later, I go outside of my college. There's kids running around the streets with American flags saying we did it. And everyone was like, what the hell's happening? And I was like, here, look, I knew.
Those are the same kids probably running around fucking trying to cancel the fucking world right now.
Kneeling. Same shit, man. Yeah,
they're called fucking front runners or bandwagoneers.
That's what the media does, man.
Cock knockers.
Pussy.
Whatever's hyped on now.
Douche bagels. That's a good word. Douche bagel.
Douche bagels. Probably the name of this episode.
Let me get douche bagels. What? I said 2 bagels.
Douche bagels
douche bagels
and Bin Laden.
Oh shit. Well, is that it, or anybody else got anything to say?
I think that might be it for the Mix It Up podcast this week.
Mike, watch that hat, bro.
That's what she
It's
said.
right here, right? Yeah. I watched it a couple times, but it's okay. It's not bad.
No,
it's just it's just a permanent fucking hat now.
You should permanent marker it. You should color the whole thing in with a Sharpie.
No, it's just white came down here, and then it's all on the rim.
I come from the gutter.
All right, don't permanent. Don't Sharpie it. Sharpie it, and it'll be like a brand new hat. But your head's gonna smell like a fucking Sharpie.
It smells good. The Knicks are in the playoffs, so this is my lucky hat. I don't care what it looks like. I'm fucking wearing it.
It's my lucky hat. I don't go anywhere without my lucky hat.
I gotta get an alert on my phone. Go Knicks. Not you guys.
The Knicks. Who's your favorite basketball team? The Knicks.
I do a podcast with them every week.
Yeah. Yo, I got a couple extra tickets front row to see the Knicks tonight. Oh, cool. You show up in my backyard and me and Nick are playing basketball.
I'll be there.
Oh shit.
I'll drive and kick like John Stockton to whoever.
Karl Malone.
No, I know, but you're not Karl Malone.
The ball go in the net. The internet.
You're like Ray Allen.
Oh yeah, Ray Allen, sharpshooter, baby.
Yeah,
you know what it is.
I don't know what Nick is. Nick's like a slasher.
I'm Gary Payton.
You ever play basketball with Nick still?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Every time he gets a ball, he just fucking shoots right away. He don't give a shit where he is on the basketball court either. No
shoot
shit.
Shoot, shoot, Mike.
Yeah. I played with him back in the day. I played with him at St. John's, and I'm like, gee, is this kid good? He's like, he's all right. Every time he gets the ball, I'm like, yo, Nick, I'm open. Nick just chucks it right up.
Wow.
Hey.
He must not like you because whenever I played with him, he's been a distributor.
Nope. He was taking it to the rim. He housed people too. It was crazy.
Okay.
House people?
House people. You go into the rack, hard body, dunking on fools.
Wow.
That's what he's saying right now.
Nick broke this guy's like knee and shit up there.
That wasn't
Right.
me. That was not me.
You know, he's talking about what you did to me because I break my knee every 5 seconds, apparently.
Shit.
You just get healthy for the softball game tomorrow night. So we're gonna talk about next week how you got a shot from the doctor. You took a couple of beers, maybe you drank like 3 or 4 beers before you played, some fucking on oxy, and then you're just throwing strikes and striking everybody out. Like,
this sounds like the storyline of Varsity Blues. We all know how it turned out.
great. It turned out we won a championship.
Oh God.
So stay tuned. We're gonna win a championship on next week's Mix It Up podcast. I'll see you guys later.
Later.
Peace.
The cat in the box.